Good evening and welcome to Eagle Eye News. I'm Kristen Burton.
And I'm Jared Dillard. We start the show tonight. We want to turn towards weather. 2 days of strong storms caused extensive damage across East Alabama and West Georgia. Some of the worst damage being seen in the southwest Georgia areas of Adel and Albany.
That same storm system that affected our area also claimed the life of 4 people in Mississippi. While our area did not see as extensive damage as others, the National Weather Service has determined that an EF1 tornado touched down in Opelika in the Pepperell Village area.
Trees snapped in half, power outages, and damage to homes is the extent of the damage in Opelika. Smith Station also received considerable damage as the tornado destroyed the high school baseball and softball complexes. If you have any pictures from the storm, we would love for you to send them our way through Twitter or Facebook at Eagle Eye TV.
Friday, January 20th was a big day for Americans. Donald Trump was sworn into the office, making him America's 45th president.
He started off by writing his own inaugural speech, although short, very powerful with his words. He used strong American First theme stating, from this day forward, it's going to be only America first.
With predictions of millions of attenders, there has not been an official report of how many people were in attendance for President Trump's inauguration, but has been viewed as significantly smaller than that of President Obama's 2009 inauguration at 1.8 million people and President Bush's 2001 inauguration at 300,000 people.
Since Friday, there has been a lot of controversy surrounding the inauguration of President Trump. Within 24 hours of being sworn in, an estimated 1 million people worldwide have gathered in support of women's rights and Women's Against Trump campaigns. This was a more peaceful protest compared to the violence and arrests that took place during the inauguration.
Earlier this month, a woman who was stolen at birth was found alive after 18 years.
July 10, 1998, Camilla Mobley was taken from a Florida hospital by Gloria Williams. She had been raised by Williams as if she were her own. Investigators followed up on more than 2,500 leads in search for Mobley and stumbled upon a young lady in South Carolina with the same birth date.
DNA results concluded that the identity of this 18-year-old woman was in fact Camilla Mobley. She has since then been reunited with her biological family.
Williams was charged with kidnapping and interference with custody. She could face up to life in prison if convicted.
The Lee County Sheriff's Office received a phone call from a construction worker stating that he found a suspicious trash bag laying in the creek flowing under the bridge near Cosey Branch.
The Lee County deputy responded to a call and confirmed that there were remains of a human leg found in the trash bag.
Lee County investigators searched the area for the remainder of the body and found more remains 60 yards west of a bridge on Macon Road 43. Pieces of clothing were also found.
The remains have been confirmed as belonging to a missing 32-year-old man, Kenneth McKenzie, who was last seen on January 6. An investigation is still in order to determine the cause of death, how the remains ended up along the creek, and where the homicide took place.
Coming up, Christy Clayton has the scoop on what 90s TV show will be making its revival. You're watching Eagle Eye TV on Channel 6.
I hope that you've been able to learn a strong work ethic surrounded by character, integrity, perseverance, so that when your 1 second comes, you'll be prepared for it.
Chris Davis.
45, there goes Davis!
Your 1 second, our 1 second is now. And our lives have been guided by the principles of one of the greatest academic institutions in the country, Auburn University.
Hey guys, I'm Christy Clayton and this is Eagle Eye Entertainment. We begin tonight with news of a reunion. NBC announced that Will and Grace will be returning to the network for 2017-2018 season. Deborah Messing, Eric McCormick, Sean Hayes, and Megan Mullally will all be returning to star in the reboot. But among the excitement, the show's loyal fans have some questions. When the show went off the air back in 2006, the finale ended with Will and Grace sending their kids to college in the year 2026. We will all be anxiously waiting for the return to see how the show sorts out the time difference. On the topic of hit TV shows, Friends star Jennifer Aniston says she wants to head back to TV. After Friends ended in 2004, Aniston went on to star in hit movies such as Marley and Me and Bruce Almighty. Recently, she told Variety magazine that at this point in her career, she wants to be part of wonderful stories, exciting characters, and having a good time. British pop star Adele just announced that she will join Metallica, Carrie Underwood, and others to perform at next month's Grammys Awards. Adele is also nominated for 5 awards that night. The show will broadcast on CBS from LA on February 12th. Looking closer to home, fashion merchandising junior Rebecca Snyder won this year's Student Design League competition with a t-shirt inspired by the video board inside Jordan-Hare Stadium. Snyder said the Jumbotron is a larger-than-life symbol that illustrates the Auburn spirit. This year, the winning students from Florida State, Alabama, Arkansas, Tennessee, and West Virginia will all compete with Rebecca for 2 internship spots at Robin Ruth's New York offices. Good luck to Rebecca. Whittle Dormitory off of Gay Street and Thatch Avenue could become Auburn University's first boutique hotel. The house was originally used in the early 1900s to house professional women, later becoming the first on-campus housing option for women during World War II. As of now, proposed plans include to add a wrap-around porch and 18 parking places to accommodate guests. This is not the first time the city has called to use the space, but Planning Director Forrest Cotton says this is the first well-evolved proposal. We will make sure to update you on any development in the construction plans. For more entertainment news, be sure to follow us on Twitter at Eagle Eye TV. Also, tune into The Scoop Wednesdays at noon right here on Eagle Eye TV. Up next, we'll take a look into the world of sports. You're watching Eagle Eye TV, Channel 6.
Tzatziki's is more than a restaurant. It's a new take on the old idea that great food brings people together. Around our table, we bring together families and friends, husbands and wives, parents and children, boyfriends, girlfriends, old friends, new friends.
The reason I started this restaurant was after a trip to Greece that me and my wife took. Came back with a passion that I felt while we were in Greece with the food and the relationships that we were building. I said, this is my calling. This is what I want to do.
Tzatziki's has a really strong culture. Tzatziki's has a really strong following. We really have a phenomenal product. We're seeing more and more stores have record weeks. That growth in the average store volume increasing is very, very exciting. We can embrace the founder's philosophy and passion for what we are and take that to every single location, the more successful we're going to be.
We're going to create relationships, and our food is just a tool to do that. It's important to our brand.
We want you to build your legacy in your community, and we want to do that by giving you the tools to make sure you are successful.
And the vision was built on creating relationships. So our franchisees, our partners have to do the same thing. They don't see that vision, it'll never exist. We're just another restaurant. And we're not another restaurant. We're Tzatziki's.
New moves in football, basketball is hot, and tennis and gymnastics are back in action. I'm Casey Cooper, and this is Eagle Eye Sports. The biggest news in the Auburn football offseason, Rhett Lashley took a new offensive coordinator job at UConn. Auburn hired Arizona State offensive coordinator Chip Lindsey as Lashley's replacement. Gus Malzahn says he still plans to pass on the play calling to Lindsey.
Last week, obviously I started looking for an offensive coordinator. And I really started out with 3 things. I just felt like I needed to find somebody that could develop and evaluate quarterbacks. Felt like I needed somebody that I would feel comfortable turning the offense over to. I felt like I needed somebody that had a fit within the same philosophy, no huddle, run play action. So that's really where I started. Chip's going to call the plays. This is going to be Chip's offense, and it's going to be his responsibility. I've got a lot of trust in him, like I said, and he's going to do a great job.
You know, everybody's got their own spin on offense. You know, we all have our own personality that comes out when you design an offense. But the bottom line, it's never changed. The most important thing is find ways to get the ball to your best players. It's really that simple, and that'll be our goal every day, and looking forward to getting started.
To get a new look at the upcoming team, fans can attend Auburn's scrimmage game, which will be held April 9th at 3 p.m. Auburn basketball is on a roll. This past week, the Tigers picked up 2 straight SEC wins. The Auburn Tigers tipped off against Alabama for the Iron Bowl of basketball and the Outlive game. D'Angelo Purifoy made his return to the game, playing for 29 minutes and scoring 5 points. In the first half, the defense struggled at rebounding and turnovers.
Alabama come in, won 6 out of the last 7, plus 10 rebound margin, one of the best defensive teams and certainly in our league. And you could tell early we were young and we weren't very sure of ourselves in the early going, but we hung in there.
Auburn headed into halftime tied at 30 with Alabama. The second half would be a much different story. Auburn began to pick up more rebounds and several players emerged to take over the game. Mustafa Heron scored 15 total points.
But Mustafa clearly got that takeover mode, and the fact that he didn't play as effectively and certainly didn't have a presence in the first half didn't affect his mindset, knowing that he's capable of taking a game over.
Ronnie Johnson scored 17 points after having a big game against LSU earlier in the week.
Ronnie Johnson, again, played great for us and was able to go by and able to finish. It doesn't have a turnover. And so we've got 2 really strong point guards that are leading the team.
Austin Wiley, the biggest star of Saturday's game. He had 19 total points and 9 rebounds. 11 of those points came from 18 free throw attempts.
I grew up in a rivalry, and it was a hype game, really hype coming into it. Just wanted to continue the legacy and just be Alabama. So, yeah, we played a great game today.
84-64, the final score, Auburn over Alabama. Auburn picks up its 3rd SEC win and improves to 13-6 for the season. In Auburn, Casey Cooper, Eagle Eye Sports. Auburn will be on the road this upcoming week facing a tough South Carolina team that is 2nd in the SEC rankings. That game will be on Tuesday, and the team will then go up against TCU on Saturday. The Tigers' next home game, January 31st, when they have an SEC matchup with Bruce Pearl's former team, the Tennessee Volunteers. The women's basketball team is keeping up a winning record. Right now, they are sitting at 14-6 so far this season and 4-2 in the SEC. However, they did lose a close match against Kentucky over the weekend. They lost 64-60, and they look to bounce back this upcoming Thursday when they travel to take on Missouri. Tennis is back in swing. The men's tennis team had its first match of the season against UCF, winning 4-3. The next match will be Friday against Georgia State, followed by Wake Forest the next day. Both matches will be in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. The women's team has also opened up its season in a big fashion. They won all 3 games over the weekend, giving them a 3-0 record to begin the new season. On Friday, the equestrian team visited Alabama, taking home a 9-3 victory. The team is 4-2 so far this season. The next match is February 11th when they go against the Georgia Bulldogs. The women's gymnastics team is also back in action. However, they are not off to a hot start. In the first 3 matches, they have fallen in a close score to their opponent. The team looks to snag the first victory of the season when they visit the Florida Gators on Friday. The Super Bowl is all set. Over the weekend, the NFL had its conference championships. The Atlanta Falcons defeated the Green Bay Packers 44-21 for the NFC Championship. That game was also the last game ever in the Georgia Dome. The Falcons will be making their 2nd Super Bowl appearance of all time. The first was back in 1998 when they met the Denver Broncos. They lost in that game, so they are looking to win their first Lombardi Trophy on February 5th. Their opponent is the New England Patriots. They knocked off the Pittsburgh Steelers to take home the AFC Championship. Fun fact, the Patriots have been to the Super Bowl 9 times, and 7 of those times have been with Tom Brady and Bill Belichick. It will be a fun game for sure, and it will all be happening in Houston, Texas on February 5th. Want more sports updates throughout the week? We've got you covered. Just follow us on Facebook and Twitter at Eagle Eye TV and catch Tiger Tally every Tuesday at 6. Now let's catch up with Drew, who will give us a look into this week's weather.
Thank you so much, Casey. So, we're looking forward to this week. It's going to be a lot nicer than what we had last week. Tons of tornadoes swept through Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, Louisiana. So we really hope that you're safe and everything that you have is nice and protected from all that weather. But you don't have to worry about tornadoes this week. Tomorrow, it's going to be in the mid-40s in the morning. By lunchtime, it's going to be a good bit warmer. It's going to be in the mid-50s, maybe even into the low 60s. And then back into the evening, it's going to be part of the mid-50s again. So it's going to be much nicer tomorrow. You know, maybe wear some sleeves in the morning, but you don't have to worry about rain or wind or any tornadoes tomorrow, so that's always a positive. Looking forward into the week, you can see that on Wednesday, we're looking at some very nice weather. It's going to be partly cloudy, high of 70, and then moving in towards the latter part of the weekend, it's going to be in the mid-50s on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, and a low in give or take the mid-30s too, but no rain again, nice and sunny, maybe some clouds in the sky, but good overall. Moving across the country, Salt Lake City is going to be about 28 degrees, so very cold there. If you're skiing in Salt Lake, congratulations, it's perfect weather for that. Chicago is going to be about 41 degrees, so a bit warm for Chicago this time of the year. And then New York, it's going to be 43 degrees and wet, so New York's getting that weather front that we had earlier this week with all those tornadoes. And looking around the local area, you can see Montgomery, Columbus, and Auburn are all going to be about 64 degrees each. So very nice weather tomorrow. Looking forward to being around in the perfect sun. So everyone take a break from those tornadoes and back to you guys at the desk.
Auburn University's SGA election kickoff begins on February 1st with 15 major election candidates running for either president, vice president, treasurer, or Miss Auburn.
After 1 week of campaigning, students will vote for their choice in both major and minor election candidates. Calls will be held on February 7th at 10 in the afternoon on the Quad Center.
For a full list of every candidate running for an SGA position, please visit auburn.edu/SGA/elections.
SGA representatives passed a resolution requiring administration to make it a priority to remove as many TBA assignments as possible to make it easier for students to sign up for classes. Professors that hope to post TBA on their class registration must provide a clear reason for why they are doing so.
The Senate also passed a resolution urging Auburn athletics, parking services, and other administrators to reconsider the university's game day parking policy. The administration will postpone the current parking time of 2 p.m. in the Coliseum lot to 3 p.m. to allow students to park in the Coliseum lot an hour later before game day.
Students can now access their dining meal plan at all on-campus dining locations without their Tiger card.
When students download the new mobile application called Get, they can scan their phone when purchasing food rather than needing to swipe their card.
To activate the app, students must have at least one printed Tiger card prior to utilizing the payment features. And while students were away for Christmas break, the city of Auburn progressed on multiple construction projects and even started a few more.
Currently, there are 11 construction projects on the university alone and plenty more across the city. Some projects include the School of Nursing facility, the band practice complex, and the Mel Classroom building in front of the library.
There are also 3 more construction projects that are under bidding, including a new graduate business education building near Louder, in addition to the Leach Science Center, and expansion to the public safety building.
To stay up to date with all of Auburn's construction projects, check out the facilities management page on auburn.edu. After this commercial break, Jared and I will take a flashback to the first Auburn basketball game on the Plains. Stay tuned.
So, I just moved in with this family, and it's embarrassing. The little one, he likes to go outside and crawl around in the giant litter box. I don't know what he's doing. I mean, I was born and I knew how to use the litter box. Look at that. That's disgusting. Oh, poop already. You're making me nervous. Oh, okay, I can't look at this anymore. I really hope he grows out of this, for his sake.
This week in Auburn history, we take a look back to the new game of basketball, which came to Auburn as a varsity sport in 1906.
Auburn's first basketball game was held on January 19th, 1906, where the Tigers beat Tulane 27-7. This low-scoring game went down in history, especially when a Tulane player threw a pass which struck and shattered a light fixture in the new gymnasium with a ceiling that just wasn't high enough.
The team was coached by Mike Donahue, and President Thatch was at the game to cheer on the Tigers. Dewitt Gibson scored the first basketball points in Auburn history due to a free throw. From what occurred in 1906, these names are forever etched in Auburn history. I mean, just think about it. You got this game called football that was around as well in 1906, and that was all the rage. And now you got this new game coming in. I mean, could you imagine how many people are actually there?
I know. I'm sure the excitement was crazy. And then to have this accident happen, right at the first game, I mean, of course.
Of course, the lights, fixture goes out. You got to wait 7 minutes. People are just sitting there. Plus, it was low scoring 27-7.
That's pretty low for basketball.
But now you look at basketball now, Coach Pearl's there coaching up the guys. The Jungle's always rowdy, and it came away with a big win against Alabama this weekend. So, hey, I think I like where we landed, though.
I agree, Jared. If you would like to join the conversation, please use the hashtag EagleEyeTV on Instagram and Twitter. That's all we have for you tonight. Tune in after the show for a live look in of the SGA Senate meeting, and keep up with all the latest Auburn news throughout the week by following us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at EagleEyeTV. I'm Kristen Burton.
And I'm Jared Dillard. Thanks for joining us, and War Eagle.